season of high school athletics here on the OH Report. We kick things off with a little bit of a new event here, live and free from the End Zone in Mount Gilead, Ohio. It is the KMAC Coaches Primetime Special. I'll be here with 7 of the league's 8 coaches talking about their teams, previewing this season. It should be fun. It's a great way to kick off our coverage here because you'll be seeing a lot of those KMAC teams right here live and free over the next, hopefully 16 weeks. Hopefully we get a team that will go to possibly Canton in the state championship. But we'll start off with a team that made it to the Final Four, the Danville Blue Devils. I welcome in head coach Matt Bloom. Coach, as always, a pleasure to see you, and welcome. It's another season of football. It can't get any better, right?
Yeah, can't complain at all. We're getting ready to go.
Well, first, before we start talking about 2025, let's talk about a little bit about 2024. You guys, you broke through. You won a regional championship. You were close against Hillsdale as well to making it to Canton, but that was a special season for this squad. You pretty much ran through almost all the teams on the schedule, but just one more chance for you to reflect on that great year you had.
It was a good year. We had a really good senior class last year. Obviously, we're going to miss guys like Josh Byers, Caleb Lucas, Aiden Burke, Blake Colpy, to name a few. Josh Byers and Caleb Lucas are going to play at the next level at Ashland University, so they're going to take their talents to the next level. But a special group of kids, and they really sustained the standard. That was our motto last year. Like you had already mentioned, they broke down the wall, and we got to the Final Four, which was special. Really special for us because it's been a lot of hard work with our boys. So that was obviously a special moment, and just being able to sustain the throughout the seasons. We have new kids, we reload. But being able to have success every year in and year out, is special. So, but that's our standard here, and that's what's going to continue to happen.
A tough loss to Hopewell early on in the season. You lost to Northmor, winning the championship and winning a regional as well. I guess talk about the KMAC. I always say the KMAC is one of the most underrated small school conferences in the state of Ohio for the fact that you constantly see district champions, but 2 of 28 teams remaining in the state of Ohio were KMAC squads.
I just think in general it's a deep league. I think it's kind of cliche, but week in and week out you have a battle, and that's what we ran into last year. Obviously Northmor was a fantastic team and they earned it every single week. They had a great year, but I thought Centerburg was a really good team. Fredericktown was a good team. Mount Gilead was a good team, just to name a few there. It's going to be like that this year. I think everybody, has different pieces coming back, and it's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out. But I think you're exactly right. I think year in and year out, it's a very competitive league, one that's good to be a part of. Our goal is to compete for a conference title every year, and that's what we're going to aspire to do. In the 3 years I've been here, we've been top 2 in the league every single year. We won it a couple years ago, so that's our standard, and that's what we're going to try to achieve.
Yeah, and you're talking about having to reload some players, but you do return one of the best up-and-coming running backs. At least the second half of the year, we saw what he could do. Cy Wallace, he really came on. What was it, about game 4 or 5?
Yeah, I would say later half of the year, week 5, week 6 is kind of when we started to put more on his plate. Obviously, being a freshman, you want to handle those situations a little bit different, but it was just hard to not not give him the ball and keep him off the field. So he's a very special kid, and he's going to be able to play both sides of the ball this year for us at running back, safety. We're going to be able to move him around a little bit. So we're definitely going to have some athletes to get the ball. And now we got to put them in the right positions to be able to succeed.
Yeah, it's just crazy that he came in game 5. He did get to play 10 games for the season, and he got over 1,000 yards. Just to see that for a freshman, Danville football, how to run the ball, how to play defense, but he's one of those typical Danville players.
He did some special things, man. In our week, I think it was 13 playoff game against Miller, he ran for 294 yards, which was second all-time in school history. And he actually broke our single-season yards per carry record for 12 yards at attempt, which is just it's crazy. And even playing that safety position, he finished with 80-plus tackles. So, he's a ball hawk, man. And I can't speak to the level of what type of kid he is. He's a great leader even as a sophomore. Type of kid, never misses a workout, 6 a.m. workout. And those are the types of kids you want to win with and battle with. So we're blessed to be able to have him and many others.
just take a look at your schedule coming up, though,
Yeah.
Coach. At Worthington Christian, you took care of them. Utica, and then you're home against Lucas. The
Yeah.
rivalry back on the turf, and then you get into conference schedule. But first, it's you want to get out of the gate good early on the right step. Worthington Christian, they're going to be a little bit better this year. Lucas is always Lucas, and you got Utica. But those two of those 3 non-conference games, it's got to be good to have a good start at home, and then you get Northmor at home as well. Cardington and East Knox Devil Dog, always a special one. But what do you think about your schedule this year?
Yeah, I mean, 2 out of our 3 non-conference opponents are Division 5 opponents, so we're playing up and
bonus points too for the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, we want to play the best competition possible, and those are 2 that we've had, and we're really excited to get Lucas back on the schedule. I think that's one that I would like to play every year if possible. Just because 2 very similar type communities. I'm glad to get that one back on the schedule. And kind of like we already talked about with the league, I think top down it's going to be very competitive this year, and we're just going to have to bring our lunch pail every single week and compete and strain every rep and finish.
And I mean, Danville football on the offensive side, it's running. On the defensive side, it's just, like you said, lunch pail, gritty. You graduate a lot from last year. A lot of your top tacklers from a team that only allowed 156 points in 15 games. I mean, that's a crazy number to think about. But, despite losing a big amount of guys, it's Danville. You guys have those players that can make that next step.
Yeah, we're fortunate. We bring back 6 starters on the defensive side of the ball, because once we got towards the end part of the year, we were able to start getting some sophomores, even some freshmen, some reps. So even though we lose a good chunk of our production defensively and offensively, I still feel pretty good in the guys we return. And we're going to be a little bit of a younger team. Sophomores and juniors are going to be playing a lot. We have a smaller senior class, only 7 kids, so which are still all going to have big roles. But we're going to have a lot of sophomores and juniors on the defense side of the ball and offense. So, we're counting on guys to step up, and that's kind of, we're in that in-between period right now. We've only seen each other and seen ourselves in practice. So we have New York Catholic tomorrow in a scrimmage, and we're really excited to kind of see where we're at, kind of gauge and get better for week 1.
Newark Catholic, the perennial power in the small school ranks, so you're going to get a good judge at that. But like I said, week 2, Utica at home. You open up the new turf. Danville has turf. Just talk to me about how that just came to be. I mean, we saw the Mud Bowl a couple years ago against East Knox 2 seasons ago. That it was sloppy, everything like that. But who brought the idea up of getting turf? And how did it just come to be?
I think this has kind of been a big process in the making. I think you really mentioned the culprit there with the East Knox Mud Bowl game. Not really that game itself, but losing the opportunity to play 2 home playoff games on that field.
That's right, you played at Mount Vernon.
Yeah, we played at Mount Vernon for 2 games. And then this past year, we had a mud game against Loudonville. It wasn't as bad, but we lost a JV game at home, a junior high game at home. So all these situations really made us evaluate our playing surface. And another thing I didn't mention, we weren't able to practice on our game field for the last 4 weeks of our season because it was just terrible shape. So, me and one of my other coaches, my defense coordinator, Charlie Duncan, we really came together and, came up with a plan of how can we get, a better situation, a better field. And, there were so many community members that stepped up, Tony Mickley, Mark Hawk, Michael Hawk, Dave Hawk, Doug Hawk, and we really all came together and formed our committee and made this happen. So there was just a lot of people that put a lot of work and a lot of time in the shadows to make it happen. And now we have something we can truly be proud of, and we're really excited to unveil it and get after it on it.
Before I let you go, get some good end zone food and talk with the coaches, can you talk a little bit more about the Danville community? I love coming up to Danville games because it literally is last person out of town for away games or even down the road. Shut off the light. It's packed all the time. That atmosphere at Shelby for the Final Four was just that's the epitome of small school football in Ohio. Just everybody showing up.
Yeah, those are the things that makes you want to stay in a community like this. I get asked all the time, when are you leaving? When's this happening? This, that, and the other. And I don't, because of a community like this and because kids like we have and because, those supportive parents we have. And every Friday night, the stadium's packed, no matter what. So those are the types of things that want to keep you where you're at and where your feet are. So we're blessed, and we're going to continue to strive to give them good football to watch and good seasons to celebrate.
Well, we can't wait to get back up to Danville. Week 2 against Utica. unveiling the new turf. I might be up there a little bit earlier to help with some promo stuff, so maybe I can't wait to get up there, but we can't wait to work another season at Danville football. Coach Bloom,
thank you.
It's a pleasure as always. And we look forward to working with you. We're going to take a quick break, switch coaches, and next up, Andy Coella of the Centerburg Trojans right here.
OH Report brings you local high school sports coverage like nobody else. In football, basketball, baseball, volleyball, softball, soccer, wrestling, track and field. If it's happening in our area, we're streaming it.
Yeah, look, all of my friends going crazy. I gotta brag on myself, I amaze me. I know I'm got something that can phase me. I'm too dope like I'm back in the 80s. Okay, go call me and I'm gon' slide. Pull up with me for a hell of a ride. You need a couple wins, they ain't doing it right. Hit up my line, we gon' turn up the night. I got a lot of wins on my dinner plate. Ain't coming down, gotta levitate. I know my next win is the best one, so I tell them that I'm on to the untrained.
On to the next one. On to the next one. On to the next one. On to the next one.
Look, I don't take no loss, it's simple. I'm a stand-up guy, want 10 toes. Looking in the mirror, who better than me? Got their hands high, tell them that I'm out of their reach. I know I want a few M's, so I'm up, making it happen. Put a back laughing. Look, took a few L's, but now I'm way up. You just see they reaction. Whoa, got a lot of wins on my dinner plate. Ain't coming down, gotta levitate. I know my next win is the best one, so I tell them that I'm on to the untrained.
On to the next one. 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 On to the next one.
The KMAC Coaches Preview Show here at the EndZone in Mount Gilead. You guys, if you want to, anybody around here, you want to come down, get yourself some dinner and watch this. You got about probably, let's see, an hour and 10, 20 minutes left here. Come say hi to the coaches, bug them a little bit, bug me. I don't care while I'm on the air, but afterwards. But, yeah, this is our first time doing any type of a coaches show like this, and we want to thank all the coaches, especially the good man from Centerburg, Andy Coella. Coach, how are you doing, sir?
Doing great. It's football season.
Absolutely. This is our kickoff. This is our first stream of the 25 season. So, Centerburg, you guys last year, a very good season. I mean, 4 losses, twice to Northmor, won a regional championship. Once 12-0 to Danville, and then Ontario, who has an Ohio State wide receiver at quarterback. And you lost by 2 scores to him. You had a very good season last year. It's just, the scheduling didn't work out quite as well. I still think if you guys would have been on the opposite bracket of Northmor, I think it would have been a cool regional final to watch. But just, I guess, reflect on the season that you had 1 year ago and something that you guys can be very excited moving into this year.
Yeah, we were highly competitive. I mean, it was a good group to be around. They really bought in. And, those games we were, a score or two early on in the season with Ontario and Northmor and, Matt's team and, a 2-score game. So, from top to bottom, we felt pretty good. We were able to get over the playoff hump last year a little bit and rematch with Northmor. So it was fun. It was exciting. The kids coming back this year, got that experience of what that's like. So we're trying to use that a little bit to our advantage. We have quite quite an experienced group coming back from last year. So, those are kind of things that we're leaning on, to get us through until we get, some momentum and comfortable. So.
I mean, you have your quarterback coming back. You have Miles Marshall, who really was a phenomenal running back, especially the second half of this season. Your wide receiver game, you're going to get some replacements there, but that's something. If you have a good quarterback, I think they can lead your wide receivers.
Yeah, absolutely. To have him back, those two guys back there, but we have all of our offensive line back.
That's a big thing
as
too.
well too in our tight end. So the core middle guys there, lean heavily on those guys, and we got some guys on the outside that have some experience as well. Maybe didn't start on offense, but play some defense or whatever the case may be. So, but when you have a guy calling the shots that's back and has that experience, and last year he had a really kind of quiet, good year. Didn't make a whole lot of mistakes and those kind of things. So, yeah. We're excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, as you should be. Defensively, what does it look like for you guys this year?
Hopefully playing really good defense.
Yeah.
The guys up front, again, are pretty much the same guys. On the offensive line, we're fairly deep there, and one of our starting linebackers. But I think on the back end is, that's where we need some growth at. We moved a couple guys around back there. We have some new kids that'll be starting back there as well. So, but if we can manage things up front, that's going to help those guys on the back end.
Yeah. How important was it to, like you said, you guys got over that playoff hump, but that gave you 2 more weeks of practice. That gave you 2 more games with these guys coming back, to get ready for this year.
Yeah, I think that's one of the really underrated parts about, playing multiple weeks in the playoffs. Like Matt and Scott, I mean, they 14, 15 weeks. I mean, that's
15,
half of a season, and multiple years in a row. So just the overall experience and practice reps and all that kind of stuff with those kids. I mean, kids done with high school, he's, play an extra year of football, if you can get those wins and stuff at that point. So, it's extremely important.
Who are some names that you've seen early on in practice that we're going to be welcome to here during the season that kind of surprised you so far, but you think, hey, this guy's going to do something for me this year?
Well, you've mentioned 2 of them already. The guys up front, I don't think they get enough pub. It's always the skill guys and the quarterbacks, and but all of our guys, Cole Evans and Evan Tudor and Clark Red and Aiden Gray and Lane Johnston, that's our offensive line, and Jackson Ballinger's our tight end.
A D1 recruit, pretty much.
Yeah, a little fly.
You got a fly guy.
But so you have the Hayden Love, as a starter on defense for the last 2 years with us. He's going to be one of our new receivers out there. So we haven't heard too much about him, which is a good thing on defense, because as a corner, you don't want to hear your name too many times over there. But that would be a guy. Tommy Haas is our linebacker that's returned. He's done an excellent job of kind of being the leader so far, and then some new guys stepping into some new roles. So.
Let's take a look at your schedule coming up this year. I mean, we know what happens in the KMAC, but the non-conference as well. Utica as well. Team Danville will be at home with. You got Johnstown, and you got Worthington Christian. How, as Coach Bloom this too, just how important is it to get some good wins under your belt before getting into the KMAC, because this is a up and down good conference this year.
It's tough. Yeah, I overheard you talking to him. I made the same statement a couple weeks ago to somebody. It's an extremely underrated conference. You had 2 Final Four teams and all that kind of stuff, and I think that gets overlooked. So it's extremely competitive. Our non-conference schedule, we try to put some teams in there that are going to challenge us to get us ready for that. Utica has been a lot better, over the last couple of years, and obviously Johnstown, in their reputation. They used to be in the NBC with us, so somewhat familiar with them. And then Worthington Christian's always a high-quality team, so it's not an easy 3 games there
it's not.
to start off with. So we're looking forward to the challenge, though.
Yeah. But even you get a winner, you get a couple wins under your belt there, it could springboard you with some confidence.
Absolutely.
And those great playoff points. Speaking of playoffs, you happy with the new format this year? Top 4 get a bye. 5 to 12 play each other. They go to the top 4 teams. What do you think of the new format?
I mean, there's positives and negatives to it. That was the original plan
Yes, it was
prior to
before
COVID. So I think the trick is going to be, the bye with the top 4 teams. If you get that spot, how do you manage that week if you get that? But I mean, you're still getting to that point. You're playing quality people regardless. So the goal is to make it in one way or the other.
All right, lastly, before I let you go, Coach, I'll give you a chance to talk about your community, Centerburg. I mean, you have one of the best first concession stand menus, just like the great menus here at the EndZone. But you guys have some really good concession stand food there. But not only that, you have a great community that comes out game in and game out. That place is packed for Freddie Berg, no matter where you're at, which side. Just I'll give you a chance to talk about the fine folks that come and support you. Yeah,
the support has been awesome. It always is. Kids love playing at home. When we go on the road, we have great support as well. Our playoff game last year down to Eastern, 2 hours or whatever it was. Lots of people showed up, to that. So it was really cool to see that. And then we came back and, played Northmor. The place was jam-packed, as you know.
Yeah, standing room only.
Which was awesome. So, they show up and they support in all kinds of different ways. Whether it's donating, the concession stand, all that kind of stuff. So it's a really cool environment. It's a fun place to be. I love being there. So we're looking forward to another season, and hopefully we can continue on.
And you got new grass. You got a new running turf in there as well, which I heard is coming in well.
Yeah, it looks awesome. We get to play on it on Saturday, so we haven't had scrimmage at home in a couple years. So the kids are super pumped. Our first 4 actually, 2 scrimmages, and then our first 2 our first 2 games are at home. So we got a month playing on the grass. So we're looking forward to it.
Who's your scrimmage coming up this weekend?
Upper Sandusky.
Oh, Upper Sandusky. Okay. Yeah, the Rams. We'll be seeing them as well this year. Finally, I talked about the concession stand. What's your favorite concession stand food from if you're able to ever get it?
No, I mean, I'm going to be honest.
They don't save anything for you? You can't say
we get hamburgers and hot dogs sometimes. So, yeah, they save us some food.
Yeah, well,
Trojan burgers. If we get the Trojan burgers going on. Yeah.
That's the big one. I was like, you got to save Coach something. Come on now. Well, Coach Coella, always a pleasure. We look forward to covering you guys this year. I'm really excited to see what you guys can do.
We appreciate you guys.
We appreciate you as well. All right, we're going to take a break, and the other Andy in the KMAC will be next, Andy Beatty of East Knox, right after this on the KMAC Coaches Primetime Special.
OH Report brings you local high school sports coverage like nobody else. In football, basketball, baseball, volleyball, softball, soccer, wrestling, track and field. If it's happening in our area, we're streaming it.
I don't take no loss, it's simple. I'm a stand-up guy, walk 10 tall. Looking in the mirror, who better than me? Got their hands high, tell them that I'm out of their reach. I know I want a few M's, so I'm up, making it happen. To the neck laughing. Look, took a few L's, but now I'm way up. You should see they reaction. Whoa, got a lot of wins.
Welcome back inside the End Zone in Mount Gilead, the KMAC coaches preseason primetime special, whatever Adams named it. It says down on the bottom of the preseason primetime KMAC edition. I finally said it good for once. But back here, we talked with Danville. We talked with Centerburg. It's now time to talk to the team that got us into the KMAC way back, the East Knox Bulldogs, head coach Andy Beatty. Coach, welcome in. It's a pleasure to have you, and welcome to the 2025 season.
Yeah, thank you. Great. Thanks for having us out here, and
Our
looking
pleasure.
forward to it.
Before we get into 25, let's talk a little bit about 24. You just missed out on the postseason last year. Early on, your quarterback, Jax Lester, was out for a couple games with injury, but you guys kind of you straightened it out middle of the season. Then you had a grinder of the last 4 games in the KMAC. But you've had a few months to think about it. Just some final thoughts on 24 before heading into 25.
Yeah, and we have spent some time reflecting on that, and the first part of that year was thankfully our schedule kind of aligned, but it was tough. We had a lot of injuries. O-line, I think the first 4 weeks we had 4 different versions of the O-line, including our starting quarterback out for a week. And so there was a lot of things we were trying to figure out and work through. And then unfortunately we kind of hit the toughest part of our schedule with a very, very young team. And it almost kind of felt like, there were times where we'd have 8, 9 sophomores out there, and you could see that, okay, this is kind of taking that war of attrition on them by the time you get there. But so that's been a big emphasis this offseason is, improving on that, getting bigger, stronger, faster, and ready for that grind.
And you guys had a lot of youth on the team as well. Just how have they, just changed from last year to this year? Summer program, you had good numbers for the summer program, things like that. A lot of youth, but a lot of experience too.
Yeah, it is interesting because we'll at practice we'll be like, all right, old guys here, young guys here, and we'll have a bunch of our sophomores join the old guy group, and in a lot of ways it feels like that because they had so much playing time last year, and so we're going to be very sophomore junior heavy again this year, and so I'm excited for that, and those young men have really risen to the occasion. They recruited the hallways really well for us. We have 8 new sophomores coming out this year, and so they don't feel like sophomores because they've been so invested, so involved, and same with our juniors. Those juniors, a lot of those kids also played as freshmen too, and so you look, they have the experience, and they're ready for this moment.
And you have a lot of youth, but you do have some seniors, some juniors on there. How has the just the captain aspect of it? How have they been with these younger guys?
I'll tell you, we've been really blessed with good leadership there. The team has selected 3 captains, and I let the team vote on those. And so Jax Lester, he'll be a 4-year starter. That Lester name is probably really familiar.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's actually a 2nd-year captain. He was voted a captain his junior year as well, and so he does a great job. A young man, Miles Mitchell, who didn't play his freshman year. He lettered last year, but he is just a workhorse. He's become very vocal, and he's exactly what you want in a lineman. He does lineman things in lineman ways, and then, of course, our other senior is a young man named Aiden Riggle.
Okay.
He started as a sophomore, and Aiden is going through some really unfortunate health stuff right now, and he's actually was recently admitted to Children's and won't be able to play this season. However, he's still highly involved. He's still very much a leader, a captain, and so I expect his influence to still be noticeable with everything we're doing.
Let's take a look at your schedule coming up this year. Devil Dogs going to be on turf for once.
Yeah.
I mean, not many times East Knox gets to play on turf in the regular season, but thoughts about that? Your rival getting turf?
Yeah, I mean, I think Coach Bloom and I would both agree after the 2023 Devil Dog game, which was the mud. I mean, that was
still a phenomenal game. You guys almost pulled off the upset of the century in that one too.
That was an exciting one, and for us, it was like get to the hashes because it's clear out there, and so we were throwing like crazy, and people thought we were nuts, but it was working a little bit. But I think I'm excited for them because I do think that that field, it was time for some work to be done there. So I did see they were like doing a promotion where if you donated so much money, you could name the field. And so, I thought,
Yes.
We worked at maybe raising some funds for that, but
Bulldog Field at Danville Stadium. It was hilarious.
Yeah, it's a good thing we're in Mount Gilead when you just said that, because otherwise people might be coming at you. But
that's why I chose it to be on the other side of the KMAC.
Yeah, good call.
For you,
Yeah.
But you lead off at home against the North. You had that game until the very, very end, so a chance at redemption there. And then on the road to 2 Northern 10 teams, Winford, and then Colonel Crawford, who was a play here or there from probably going to a regional championship, but you guys get another chance at them with with Jax hopefully 100%, and guys like that. So you're going to be looking for some revenge on a couple of those games, but it's a good start for you guys getting into the schedule, which is going to be a tough conference schedule as well.
Yeah. Looking at our schedule, I mean, Northridge is a tough physical team, and last year we didn't have our preview scrimmage. It ended up getting canceled, and so that first night felt very chaotic, I think, for a lot of us. And so we're very eager to go back and have that opportunity. Of course, now they have to come play on our grass after playing on turf all year. Yeah. And then Winford is a very tough physical team, and then Crawford. I contend they're one of the best teams in the state, and they do a good job of being pretty diverse with things. And we felt like if we were healthy, if we play the way I know that we're capable of, we can be right there with them. And so, I'm anticipating all 3 of those non-conference matchups for different reasons.
Who are some guys, like I said, you have youth, but who are some names that are going to be OH Report household names in Howard here over the next couple of years? Who's stood out over the summer and early fall practice for you guys?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Obviously losing Blake Elliott at running back is a huge deal for us.
School record back-to-back games.
Yeah, over 300 yards back-to-back last year. And so there's a young man by the name of Landon Boyd. He's a sophomore, and he has looked phenomenal. He's kind of one of those, if you could build a running back, there's so much of what he does is what you'd ask for, and he's got the mentality for it. So I'm really excited for him. I think that's a name that we're going to be hearing a lot of. There's also a young man that's playing wide receiver for us, and he's legitimately one of the fastest kids in the state. He's a state finalist in the 100-meter, 200-meter.
Yeah.
That's Logan Clark. And so, we're excited to get him the ball in space, and another receiver for us. Again, a legit one of the fastest kids in the state, Kason Fawcett, sophomore coming out. And he, I think, has legit probably grown about 6 inches this offseason. He says he's grown 4 inches, but we always round up on those rosters and stuff. So we say he's grown 6 inches.
I'm 5'11" in rosters when I was
exactly.
only 5'9". Yeah, it makes you feel bigger too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
But does that excite you a lot, knowing that you have speed at wide receiver, knowing that you have a quarterback that can just throw dimes and put it where you want it?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, Jackson is obviously a 4th-year starter now, and he is such a good leader. He's done a great job of, anticipating and helping these guys become what I think they're capable of. And so, yeah, I'm really excited for that. And that's kind of been fun for us, because I think, a lot of people have this perception that we just run when we run buck, and we're going to run buck, but we're also going to get it out to our athletes and let them do what athletes do.
Yeah. Lastly, before I let you go, get some dinner here at the End Zone. Like I did with the first couple of coaches, just get a chance to talk about your community, Howard, Ohio. I mean, not many schools have a train horn for any time you score or get a first down of that, but it seems like it doesn't matter the record. That home side is packed. Devil Dog game, it's standing room only. Like, the fans at Howard are passionate, and it's just awesome to see on our end. But it must be really great for you guys as well, knowing that you're so supported.
Oh yeah. The community's phenomenal. They. Today was our picture day in between 2-a-days, and our board president is out there taking pictures with the kids and making a human pyramid with them. And, the love is mutual. The community is great to these young men, and they see them as young men first and foremost, not just football players. And so, there seems to be that level of empathy, which I think is, you see it carry through in the way that they support them. Highs or lows, they're there for them. And so, I love being a part of this community. I can't imagine being anywhere else, doing anything else other than East Knox Bulldog football, because it's a special place to be for sure.
And then your son playing, correct? I saw a video. A pick 6 last year, something like that, and I could see you jumping up and down. Just how's that being being able to coach your son, in high school football and see him succeed like that? That's got to be, I know as a coach you have to kind of try and maintain yourself till you get home and stuff, but it's still got to be a great feeling seeing your kid out there playing like that.
Yeah, that's been a really powerful opportunity, and it's been a little bit intimidating too. And it helps he is a very good football player. He had, I think, a couple pick sixes last year, and so the nice thing is I've got a coaching staff that does a great job, and they also help me to, because I probably go on the side of not showing favoritism, but being maybe overly harsh on him or withholding things that he's deserving of because I don't want that stigma. And so
absolutely.
My defensive coordinator, Gage Steinmetz, is phenomenal. He's taken him under his wing, and he's really gotten the most out of him. And so, but it's been cool. We've had some rough moments this last year. We've had some awesome moments, and I'm cherishing every single moment of being able to do that.
Well, here's for a few more years of that as well. But best of luck this season. We look forward to covering you guys, Coach. And have a good season.
Great, thank you. Appreciate it.
Coach Andy Beatty of the East Knox Bulldogs. We'll take a quick break, and Scott Armros just walked in the door. We'll talk with the regional champion head coach right after this.
OH Report brings you local high school sports coverage like nobody else. In football, basketball, baseball, volleyball, softball, soccer, wrestling, track and field. If it's happening in our area, we're streaming it.
Yeah, look, all of my wins going crazy. I gotta brag on myself, I amaze me. I know I'm got something that I can phase me. I'm too dope like I'm back in the 80s. Okay, call me and I'm gon' slide. Slide up with me for a hell of a ride. You need a couple wins, they ain't doing it right. Hit up my line, we gon' turn up the night. I got a lot of wins on my dinner plate. Ain't coming down, gotta levitate. I know my next win is the best one, so I tell them that I'm on to the unplay.
On to the next one. On to the next one. On to the next one. On to the next one.
Look, I don't take no loss, it's simple. I'm a stand-up guy, want 10 toes. Looking in the mirror, who better than me? Got their hands high, tell them that I'm out of their reach. I know I want a few M's, so I'm up, making it happen. To the back laughing. Look, took a few L's, but now I'm way up. You just see they reaction. Whoa, got a lot of wins on my dinner plate. Ain't coming down, gotta levitate. I know my next win is the best one, so I tell them that I'm on to the unplay.
On to the next one. 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 On to the next one.
Back here at the End Zone in Mount Gilead, we're talking to KMAC football coaches ahead of the 2025 season. You got to stop into the End Zone. This place is really cool. They got their own wall of fame with some Morrow County schools. I see a lot of Northmor Golden Knights. Coach Armros with me here, but we got Marcus Cortez right behind us. But great food. I try to come in here before any Cardington game I'm covering, every Mount Gilead game, or Northmor, things like that. It's just a great place to eat. Good prices as well, so stop on in Sometimes I even have our games up on the screen over in the bar area, so sometimes. But I am welcoming in head coach Scott Armros, who had one heck of a good time last season. Regional champions for the first time ever. KMAC champs for the first time since, I believe, 82. They won a conference championship. They were stacked, and they made it to the final 28 teams in all of Ohio. First of all, welcome in, Coach. Appreciate you coming in from practice right now to stop by and talk and eat some dinner. But let's get right into things. 2024, I mean, you guys had expectations, but you really shone out.
Yeah, it was a special season with a special group of young men, and it's something that they're going to remember, our community's going to remember, and certainly our coaching staff's going to remember for a very long time. So, it was a lot of fun. It was a great ride, and the OH report made it something special too. Your coverage all the way through.
I had a blast
just
on those games.
Just watched the regional championship game on the OH report last night.
Really?
So we still watch those games, and people are still reaching out about it. How great the coverage was. So we appreciate that.
Well, you got to shout out Ken Parrott as well, because him, getting excited and yelling over top of me was just it was the icing of the cake. It made it sound home-like.
You guys were definitely far from unbiased all season long, and we appreciate that. And Ken has always been a big supporter of our family and our team as well. So he's a Northmor Knight all the way through.
Oh, absolutely. No, it was a pleasure covering you guys. And like I was saying earlier with Coach Bloom, 2 of the 28 teams that made the Final Four were from the KMAC. What's that just say about this conference? I've always said this is one of the most underrated small school conferences in Ohio. I know you have the MAC, but people know about the MAC. Not a lot of people know about the KMAC. But it's great. You get district champions in basketball, district runners-up, softball, any sport. Wrestling, you get state champs. Football, you have 2 Final Four teams. So just to talk a little bit about this conference that you play in, because you get some teams that can get you ready for playoff runs.
Absolutely, and it's a competitive league every year, and you look at teams like Centerburg and Danville at the top of the league every year that are competitive, and those are great rivalries for us, even though we're not even in the same county. And then you look at the Morrow County schools as well, and we have some great rivalries there, and it's good. It's good athletics. We've got wrestling, we've got baseball, we've got football that's competitive every year in the state level. So it's definitely a competitive league, top to bottom.
Now let's talk about 2025 for you guys. You lost quite a bunch. You lose the state D6 Offensive Player of the Year, AJ Bauer. He's up at Ashland now. Jax Wenger, who came off of injury and just showed out. Big play Bo Landon. Cohen Becker, who has many medals around his neck from track over the last couple of years, has wrestling as well. But you lost a lot, but I mean, that's what you get from a Final Four team with those guys. You lose a lot, but what are you able to see from these guys that are back?
That's what makes high school football so much fun. It's the challenge of the next group each season. And we've got 8 seniors that have gained a lot of experience. A lot of them played some JV last year, but they've been waiting for their opportunity, and they're going to get their opportunity now. And they've worked really hard, and they're ready to leave their mark on the program.
Yeah. Now, these guys, they aren't coming in cold either. 9 of 15 games you played last year were running clocks into the second half where you gave those guys experience against other teams' number ones. It was 10 out of 15, but that was literally a running clock right at the end of the game to get you guys to the state Final Four. But just how important was that? Not only getting, I think, 7 games in the regular season, a couple games in the postseason, but as well playing 5 extra games to get experience, 5 extra practices, practicing on Thanksgiving morning. How important was it to make that run to get these guys that are going to have to step up this year more experience? Yeah,
anytime you can get those guys in late in the game on a Friday night, that experience of being on the field on a Friday night is a special experience, and it's huge in their development. And anytime we can do that, then obviously that's good for them. Extending the season, which we've been very fortunate enough to have been able to do here the last few years, that really helps. You get extra weeks in practice. You get more time with those guys in the weight room. You continue to develop those guys for extended weeks, and that run we made last year is definitely something that's going to help these guys, coming in this year, just because you get those extra 5 weeks. You're very limited in what you can do, and the OHSA limits, your practice time and things like that. So you get an extra 5 weeks to work with those guys, and it's definitely it's another half season you get them to kind of get them ready to go.
But not only that, but a Final Four run for a school like Northmor, what that can do years down the road. You see these little kids that are coming up through the system saying, hey, if they can do it, maybe I can too. Just how important overall for not just the next couple years, but the future of this squad was it making that run, winning a conference championship, making it to the Final Four, and showing people, Northmor, we are here, we're a football school?
Yeah, and it definitely is a great thing for our program, and you know, we had such great community following there, and all the young kids see that and they think, hey, why not us? Why get our opportunity? And at the same time, you know, nothing you've done in the past guarantees any success in the future.
Absolutely.
So we know we have to continue to work hard to keep things going.
Let's take a look at the schedule. This year, you guys are going to start on the road at Upper Sandusky this year before coming home against Seneca East. I'll be there. Me and Ken will be there to welcome the regional champs home for their first game of the season. But you got Upper Sandusky. You're at North Union as well, and Seneca East. It's you're not just getting walked into the start of the season. You're getting thrown right into the thick of things. Just talk about that, and then talk about how what I think is going to be an even more balanced KMAC schedule.
Absolutely, and one of the unfortunate things of success in your program makes scheduling much more difficult, and there's just certain teams that don't want to play you anymore, and we've had to reach out, and the start of our schedule, it's tough. You know, Upper's always big and strong up front when they've got athletes in the back end. Seneca East is a returning playoff team, winning some games in the playoffs, very athletic, and then North Union's a Division IV team. So we got our work cut out for us in the non-league, and it doesn't give us a whole lot of time here to get these guys ready. We'd say they're somewhat inexperienced. We've got upperclassmen, but they don't have a whole lot of Friday night experience, so we don't have a whole lot of time to get them ready. So we got to be focused.
Let's talk before I let you get some dinner and head back to practice. But let's talk about the community. I talked with our first three coaches about that. Every Northmor fans had the expectations this year because you normally see at a Northmor game they're lined up around the fencing. They're packed in that homestand, but it was about 4 or 5 deep for some games at the Castle this past season. Just how great has it been to have a fan base in North Bloomfield Township like the fan base you guys have? Because we traveled down to Newark for a playoff game. We went out past Canton for the regional, for the Final Four game. We were doing some traveling for these playoff games, and it was like a home game each and every one.
And the OH Report does such a great job covering us that the fear is
tacked a lot of miles on.
Everybody's going to stay home and just watch it on. And it's snowing outside and it's brutally cold. And they can stay home and watch it on the internet for free, in the OH Report. But our fan base is outstanding. They follow us. They traveled in bad weather games. They had huge parties in the locker room after some wins. And I mean, it was just, it's been really special. It's been a really special thing. And I hope, I'm sure we're going to continue to get that support.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the locker room, I do want to ask you this one question before I let you go. Sorry, I lied. I got another question. But your coaching staff. We saw how important they have been the last few years, but now in this, this transition from what you had to what you have coming up, how important is it to have that great coaching staff to help, sustain what you guys have?
I'm blessed beyond belief with the staff that I have, and with the exception of Coach Sears, who's a Lex guy, we don't hold that against him. They're all Northmor graduates. They're all Northmor guys, and Nate Hall runs our strength and conditioning, and our culture in the weight room is outstanding, and he's now calling the offense. He's phenomenal in what he does, and I'm extremely lucky to have him. He's going to be a full-time teacher in the building this year.
Oh,
and Al Sears back. I think this is his 6th year on the varsity level, and he's our defensive coordinator, and he does a great job of putting a plan together. And then the rest of the staff, Coach Whistler, who do my special teams. Then I got guys that are of the program, of guys I've coached at Northmor that come back and stick around. And
guys I've covered,
when you get those guys, their heart's in the right spot, and you know that they're all in and they bleed black and gold. And I'm very, very fortunate to have those guys. They're doing a great job running practice without me right now, I'm sure. Well,
we're very fortunate to have you guys, too. East Knox was one of our first, but Northmor was one of the first. We did our first ever stream, a full stream, because it was delayed. If you remember that rain delay game or the thunderstorm delay, we finished off. But thankful for you guys coming into the OH Report family, and I cannot wait to be there for week 2 to welcome in the team that for the first time since winning a regional championship back home at the Castle. But Coach Armoros, always a pleasure.
Thank you,
Can't
Travis.
wait to
Appreciate
see you in
it.
a couple weeks.
Yep, thank you very much.
We're going to take a break, and we're going to actually have a special guest, Sarah Long, the owner of the EndZone here in Mount Gilead, will be here to talk to me after this.
OH Report brings you local high school sports coverage like nobody else. In football, basketball, baseball, volleyball, softball, soccer, wrestling, track and field. If it's happening in our area, we're streaming it.
Yeah, look, all of my friends going crazy. I gotta brag on myself, I amaze me. I know I'm got something I can phase me. I'm too dope like I'm back in the 80s. Okay, go call me and I'm gon' slide. Pull up with me for a hell of a ride. You need a couple wins, they ain't doing it right. Hit up my line, we gon' turn up the night. I got a lot of wins on my dinner plate. Ain't coming down, gotta levitate. I know my next win is the best one, so I tell them that I'm on to the unplay.
On to the next one. On to the next one. On to the next one. On to the next one.
Look, I don't take no loss, it's simple. I'm stand up, guy on 10 toes. Looking in the mirror, who better than me? Got their hands high, tell them that I'm out of their reach. I know I want a few M's, so I'm up, making it happen. Put a back laughing. Look, took a few L's, but now I'm way up. You just see they reaction. Whoa, got a lot of wins on my dinner plate. Ain't coming down, gotta levitate. I know my next win is the best one, so I tell them that I'm on to the unplay.
On to the next one. 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 On to the next one.
Back here on the Primetime special, the KMAC Coaches Preview Show, whatever Adam had it named. But I am now welcoming a special guest, the owner of this, the EndZone, Sarah Long. Sarah, first of all, thank you for having us here. This is I've been wanting to do a show like this for a while, and it just everything seemed to work out for this day. And you guys have been so gracious to allow us here take a little bit of your high school section. But yeah, thank you. First off, just if you want to get into the history of the EndZone, how long has this been here? I haven't been in North Central Ohio too long, but this is I've heard a lot about this place. I've eaten here many times, but it's a cool place to come.
Yeah, so my husband started it in February 14th, 2019, so we're going on 7 years.
Okay.
He unfortunately passed away at the end of 2023, but it was important, to keep it going and for my kids, and he was really big into youth sports, and he was a middle school football coach, and just football and sports was his life and his family, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
But he just wanted, a place for people to come and hang out and just, have fun and enjoy after a game, or and a place to, honor local athletes, things like that.
And you guys do it really well. I mean, in our background and to the left of us is the EndZone's Wall of Fame, but it's all Morrow County high school athletes, and they even have them sign it. Just how did this get started? And it seems like most everybody that's come here, they've signed the pictures and everything.
Yeah, so my husband, like I said, wanted to do something just to kind of honor, small town athletes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he decided to start, he called it Athlete of the Week. And on Facebook, we would pick an athlete from each school in the county, and we'd have people vote on who would be the Athlete of the Week. And then whoever won, we'd print off their picture. They could come in and sign it and get a free meal. Yeah. Just a little something just to, honor them. And
that's great.
So, yeah.
And it's cool that most of these people I've covered on the OH.
Yes.
That doesn't make me seem too old, but I mean, half these people, Lexi Wenger at Northmor, Marcus Cortez, Elijah Chafin. I mean, it's really cool what you do to honor high school athletics here in Morrow County as well. I mean, you guys have been a sponsor with us the last couple years as well, which is cool. But enough about the sponsorship and the school and the kids, but let's talk about the food, because, like I said, I've come here many times before, a Cardington game, a Mount Gilead game, a Northmor game, just because it's a great atmosphere, it's great food. Just to talk about that.
Yeah, so we're best known for our wings and our burgers. We've got really good wings and burgers, but we've got a really big menu. We've got, appetizer, any kind of appetizer you could want. Just lots of choices, and it's all really good portion sizes, good prices. We try to keep it low, but we've got some really good food.
And then you have the adult beverage section over there at the bar as well.
Yeah, we have
So
another side. This is kind of, we call this our cafe side. It's kind of more low key, honoring all the athletes, and then we have kind of the more, the bars on that side, and just more. We do karaoke every Friday night.
Fridays. I'm glad we're doing this on a Thursday because I might be over there singing
right?
Oasis or something right now.
Yeah. And then every Tuesday we also do trivia at 7 o'clock. So it's a fun place.
Yeah. And I know you guys have even streamed some of the games on the OH Report on your TVs as well from Mount Gilead and all of our other schools. So
we love doing that.
If you guys can't make it to an away game or something like that and they're playing, they might have it on over here.
Yes,
but,
we try to whatever we can. We have on so people can watch it.
And we'll make sure to keep relaying that to you guys as well, so you can continue to do that. It's so great. Also, carry-out's available, right?
Yes, we do carry out. Yep. We're open Monday through Thursday. We're open from 11 to 10. Friday, we're open from 11 to midnight. Saturday, we do breakfast all day Saturday and Sunday. We're open from 8 a.m. Until midnight on Saturday, and on Sunday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So, like I said, breakfast all day Saturday and Sunday.
There you go.
So
Get
you
yourself
can
some
sleep
good
in
breakfast. Yeah.
and come get breakfast later on.
There you go. And then I've seen, in the past also Sundays for football.
Yes.
You got the games on here as well.
We
so
try
you
to
get
have
a
all
little
those
late
on.
breakfast and watch some NFL football.
Exactly.
All right. Well, Sarah, I appreciate you. And I appreciate you providing food for our coaches as well. It's so
absolutely,
great.
yes.
And I look forward to coming back during the season and working with you guys and eating
Sounds
here. But
great.
thank you very much, Sarah.
Yes. Can I do a quick shout out?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
go for it.
Shout
this
out
is your
to my
place.
kids, Olivia and Wyatt.
Yes.
Wyatt, I hope you have an amazing junior year of football.
There you go. Sarah Long, the owner of the EndZone. We're going to take a quick break. Ryan Goatsman of Cardington is up next.
OH Report brings you local high school sports coverage like nobody else. In football, basketball, baseball, volleyball, softball, soccer, wrestling, track and field. If it's happening in our area, we're streaming it.
Yeah, look, all of my friends going crazy. I gotta brag on myself, I amaze me. Home guys under I can phase me. I'm too dope like I'm back in the 80s. Okay, call me and I'm gon' slide. Pull up with me for a hell of a ride. You need a couple wins, they ain't doing it right. Hit up my line, we gon' turn up the night. I got a lot of wins on my dinner plate. Ain't coming down, gotta levitate. I know my next win is the best one, so I tell them that I'm on to the unplay.
On to the next one. On to the next one. On to the next one. On to the next one.
Look, I don't take no losses, simple. I'm a stand-up guy, walk 10 toes. Looking in the mirror, who better than me? Got their hands high, tell them that I'm out of their range. I know I want a few M's, so I'm up, making it happen. Put a back laughing. Look, took a few L's, but now I'm way up. You just see they reaction. Whoa, got a lot of wins on my dinner plate. Ain't coming down, gotta levitate. I know my next win is the best one.
Back here at the EndZone, we're talking with some KMAC coaches, football style, before we kick off the season here in about 2 weeks, right?
Yeah,
Ryan Getzman, the head coach of the Cardington-Lincoln Pirates, joining me now. Coach, thank you for coming on the show. A pleasure talking to you. We don't get a lot of chances. We weren't able to line up Cardington on our schedule for home games, at least. We see you on the road, but it's good to finally get a conversation with you.
Yeah, it's nice. We appreciate everything you do. You guys do a lot of awesome stuff for our league and a lot of exposure. So we appreciate you guys.
Well, we appreciate you guys giving us the chance. Last year, we'll start with 2024 real quick and then get into 25. A 3-7 campaign. You did have a bright spot in Wyatt Denny. We'll talk about him here in a little bit, but just a reflection on 2024. Was it, after the first couple games, something just try and get better as the season went on?
Yeah, I mean, we've been in a rebuild over there, so we took a really good step for us. I know 3-7 is not the end goal, but for us, it was a good step in the right direction. We had a really nice core of athletes last year. We were able to use as you see Kalen making some plays against what we call that team up north, which is Mount Gilead. So, we had a good step in the right direction last year.
You graduate. You graduate some of your seniors. Those seniors also that won a district championship in basketball.
Yep.
But you do return. You do return a lot. You had some of that youth that you were just trying, to rebuild, to get that record back up. But you do return, like I said, one of the best running backs in the area, not only in the KMAC, but in the area. When I do stat leaders, Wyatt Denny was always up there in the top 3 or 4. Just how excited are you to have him back and to have some line guys back too, to get you ready for this season?
Yeah, so we're pretty excited about that. We return all 5 guys up front, which is pretty special for us. A lot of these guys started when they were freshmen, so now they're finally old kids. Now they're your junior seniors. But Wyatt's special. I think one thing that people don't get to realize about him is just like how good of a young man he is. He's a phenomenal football player. He's one of the best I've ever gotten to be around in a lot of ways. But the thing that Wyatt always brings every day is just how good of a kid he is, how good of a young man he is, how hard he works, and he makes everybody around him better. So he's special.
And not only that, on the defensive end, one of the leading tacklers in the KMAC. Yeah. But just to see him as that leader as well for your guys, it's got to be something nice to see, especially going into this year.
Yeah, it is. I mean, he was a 100-plus tackle kid last year, had a really nice year on defense, too. I think some people forget about that when you see 1,400 yards rushing. But then he jumps right back over and, makes 100 tackles on the other side of the ball. So no doubt about it that he's a special player. He's a player of the year in the league for a reason. Yeah. I mean, he's special.
Who are some guys, I know you have your linebacker, you have your running back that everybody knows about, but who are some guys that we're going to get to know over the course of this season?
Yeah, so one of our guards had a really nice offseason for us, was a really good player last year. We kind of switched our offense up, and it was in thought of him, too. When you have a running back like that, you had to make an adjustment for us. And Christopher Kenzie, he'll be another linebacker beside Wyatt. He was a 100-tackle kid last year, too. It was kind of under the radar because of Wyatt, so he had a really nice year. Breaking in a new quarterback in Josh Goers. The quarterback always gets a little bit of light. He's a sophomore, but nice athlete. And then our wings doing a good job. Bryce Hartley, Evan Stover, James Fiant, Leighton Hinthorn. So we got some nice guys. And again, we return all 5 up front. Chris is the heart and soul of our offensive line, but we bring back the other 4 as well that, again, are finally now the upperclassmen.
And then on the defensive side, you talked a little about it, 2 good linebackers, but having a linebacker be a good running back, does that kind of translate as well? He kind of knows what the running back is going to do when he's in that hole because he does it on the other side.
Yeah, it does. We actually had that conversation a lot when we're breaking down film. Like, hey, if you did this at linebacker and you saw the running back, as from running back spot, you saw the linebacker do that, what are you doing? He's like, well, I'm going to cut it. It's like, okay, well then we use that a lot during film time because, and it does, it helps each other hand in hand.
All right, let's take a look at your schedule for this season. As we pull that up, let's talk about the KMAC, though. I believe the KMAC is going to be even more balanced this year. Northmor loses some. Centerburg's got guys back. Danville's always Danville. But this is going to be quite the KMAC schedule this year. And then you play an N10 schedule pretty much as well. You're at Winford. You have Mohawk, who made a run last year. And then you have Bucyrus, 2 on the road. Just talk about that. Talk about the Northern 10. What made you guys so interested in playing 3 N10 squads to start off?
Well, our old athletic director had some ties in up there, and he knew those guys, so he got that rolling for us. But, yeah, we start off at Winford, then we get Mohawk again, who had a really nice year last year, and then we go to Bucyrus. So, and then the gauntlet of the KMAC, and I think every coach has said this, there's not an off night in our league.
Yeah.
I mean, we had 2 Final Four teams last year,
How great is that just as a school? I just said with the other coaches, I'll keep saying it into the ground, one of the most underrated small school conferences in Ohio. Everybody knows the MAC as a small school conference. Not many people know the KMAC,
right?
But it still produces a lot of good all-around sports.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue it's as good as any small school league in Ohio. I mean, the MAC is obviously beyond special
But
in a
people
different
know
league.
that.
They
People,
know that,
that's
but
more of a. People would think it's a big school conference the way they play,
Yeah.
but like small school, like I said, the
Yes.
KMAC is one.
small school for us. I mean, you look across the board. Our basketball team won a district title this
Yeah,
year.
that was a heck of a game. I called it.
Yeah, football, we had 2 Final Four teams. Baseball, I mean, I'm in the hunt of that as well. We had some really nice teams in baseball this year, quite a few that were state ranked. We had some guys get to the district. Centerburg won a district title in baseball. So, there's always extra, postseason stuff coming out of our league, and it's a fun league. I think one of the best parts about it is, the guys that you get to coach against in this league are fun. They're all good dudes. They're all great people. They're all good football coaches. It's a lot of fun every Friday night to get to suit up and compete against these guys.
Yeah, we were talking during the break. You have you and coach from Northmor baseball. You come to Mount Gilead. What does that just say about these small communities that you could show your face in these other communities and not get trash thrown at stuff like that. It's just it's a camaraderie.
Well, they might spit in our food. We don't know that yet, but
hopefully they don't.
I don't
I'm
think
not
they
saying
do
they
that.
do it to the end zone. I'm not saying they do it.
But no, you can show up, and again, a lot of good people in this league. There's a lot of good schools around here, and a lot of tight knit communities. So being able to come to Gilead and all these surrounding areas, and you see people that you've crossed paths with, and athletics or whatever it might be.
Answer me this question. In order for Cardington to be successful this year, we need to do blank.
We have to start fast.
Yeah.
I think our non-league is really important for us. When you're trying to turn around a program, if you lose early, you're
here we go.
Yeah,
again.
here we go again,
Yes.
right? That same song and dance, and it's like, well, we have to start fast. We have to win a couple games early, which we were able to do last year. We started 2-1 non-league, and then we got into our league. We need to look at something like that again, right? We need to start quick. We need to get some wins early and get the belief of like, hey, we can do this. We talk about how we can and that we can do it, but there's always that doubt when you're trying to turn around a program. Like, well, can we? And yes, we can. There's no doubt about it. But it's a matter of we have to do it now. We have to take that step of starting fast, of doing what we talked about, and putting the foot to the pavement.
We usually see you guys on the road, but we don't see you too much. Hopefully that'll change over the next couple of seasons. But talk about your coaching staff.
Yeah.
Who do you have? How are they in this whole scheme of getting things turned around?
Yeah, one thing I did is I tried to find some guys that were in tune with the community. So my offensive coordinator, Chad Hobbs, I know he's got it on TV right now. Appreciate you.
Shout out.
Yeah, big time. But no, he's a guy that's in the community. To me, that was important, was getting guys in the community. His brother Kyle helps out too. Those guys are doing our offense. We got a new offensive line coach this year. Kyle came back, and then we got another one addition to it. Those two guys have been doing a phenomenal job with our offensive line.
Yeah.
And then our defensive line coach Rice, he's been there for a few years now. He's doing a great job with us. And then Andy Ratliff's been around our program for 10 plus years now, and kind of been a staple in that program. So we have some guys that have been there, been around it. Coach Scarpone took over our special teams this year. Is doing a nice job for us as well. So we're finally getting to the point, where we have two sides of the ball.
Yeah.
There was a time where we were all coaching offense and defense, and now it's like, hey, I get to coach defense, and Coach Hobbs gets to coach offense, and I get to, hand the keys over to him at times. It's awesome.
There you go. Well, we look forward, Coach, to seeing you this
Yes.
season. We look forward to see what Mr. Denny and company has behind that veteran offensive line too. But best of luck this season, Coach. Coach Getzman of Cardington, the Pirates, they kick off on the road at Winford to start off this season. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you much. Appreciate it.
When we return, a familiar face to the OH Report, but a new face to the Fredericktown Freddies. Scott Spittler is on the mic after this.
OH Report brings you local high school sports coverage like nobody else. In football, basketball, baseball, volleyball, softball, soccer, wrestling, track and field. If it's happening in our area, we're streaming it.
down, gotta levitate. I know my next win is the best one, so I tell them that I'm on to the on-play.
On to the next one. On to the next one. On to the next one. On to the next one.
Look, I don't take no loss, it's simple. I'm stand up, guy, walk 10 tall. Looking in the mirror, who better than me? Got their hands high, tell them that I'm out of their reach. I know I want a few M's, so I'm up, making it happen. Put a neck laughing. Look, took a few L's, but now I'm way up. You should see they reaction. Whoa, got a lot of wins on my dinner plate. Ain't coming down, gotta levitate. I know my next win is the best one, so I tell them that I'm on to the on-play.
On to the next one. 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 To the next one.
Back here in the preseason primetime KMAC special. I think is that the name, Adam? Preseason prime. I did edition. Okay. Anyway, back here we have interviewed 5 of our 8 coaches. We're on to number 6. You used to see him in orange at Lucas, head coach of the Cubs that went to the state championship game. Now he's changed colors to Fredericktown red. Welcome in Scott Spittler. Coach, after a couple-year hiatus, welcome back to the coaching ranks. How's it feel to be back out there on the sidelines?
Oh, it's nice to be back on the sideline coaching, working with kids. Love the game of football, but the relationships that you build with the kids kind of keeps you young when you're a guy that's been in it as long as I have. But little downtime there to take care of some family things, and then got the urge to get back in it, and got the opportunity to be at Fredericktown, and my family and I have a lot of connection there. My kids went to elementary school there. My wife worked there a long time ago, and had a good relationship with a lot of previous coaches. I mean, there's been some really good football coaches that have been at Fredericktown. When you talk about Will Hartley, Luke Bill, Don DeMarco, I mean, you're talking about, number one, great men, and then and 2 good football coaches.
Yeah. I talked to other coaches about what they had last season, but you've been, taking care of things. But I guess if you could just go over one final time your time at Lucas. Just the job you did with the Cubs, turning that program around, making it to the state championship game, giving Marion Local a tough test in that game as well. But just, I guess, reflect on your time at Lucas, and now, you're moving on to Fredericktown.
It was just a tremendous privilege. The one thing I think made us the most successful at Lucas is every person involved in our program and in our success is we were all working together, rowing the boat in the same direction. And I don't care what sport you coach or what school you're at, it takes everybody, the parents, the community, the administration, the teachers, the players, the coaches. We all have to be working and driving the same direction. And we had that at Lucas. And so when you have good people, hardworking kids, and you're all aligned like that, good things are going to happen.
Yeah. And that's something that I believe Fredericktown has as well, is kids that want to play, kids that want to do things like that. And I know it's I wouldn't say unique, but your off-season program, I love keeping up on social media with you, the belt, the weekly championship belt that they compete for, because sometimes in the summer, I know there's some programs or some kids that play football that they kind of get lackadaisical. It's summer, you want to be at the pool, things like that. But a program like what you have, where you're competing each and every week for a belt, I think it just adds to it, and it keeps your kids motivated during the summer.
Well, I think teenagers nowadays are very extrinsic, and I think that gives you an opportunity to give your kids a chance to compete, and then some recognition and some positive recognition throughout the off season to build towards what you're getting as far as the competitiveness in your program. And we have a lot of multi-sport athletes at Fredericktown because we have great success in all our athletics, and that's great. But like I had at Lucas, the kids that are in these multiple sports are still dedicated to getting in the weight room and getting stronger. All the varsity coaches at the high school work well together as far as, they're in my season now, but I'll make sure they get in there and get the workout in and things like that. And so having that continuity is going to help us continue that success.
And, I mean, you're coming into the KMAC now. Welcome to a conference.
Yes.
Lucas is finally going to the Northern 10 here to play football, but you're actually into a conference, but you're not too unfamiliar with some of these teams. You've played Northmor before at Lucas. You played Danville. That's a big rivalry. So you're at least accustomed to some of these communities and some of these football programs. Like you said, you have family, you have ties to Fredericktown as well. So I guess, coming to Fredericktown, it wasn't that big of a jump because you're familiar with everybody.
Yeah, it seems like there's some type of connection with most of our conference and my time in coaching, is whether they played for me. Coach Beatty, the head coach at East Knox, actually played high school ball for me.
Oh, wow.
I had the privilege of coaching him. Great man, great player, and a lot of respect for him. And I've had connections with all these coaches, either playing against them or, in the off season and stuff, relationships like that. And top to bottom, the conference has got great coaches, hardworking kids that want to compete, and that's why the conference is so strong as it is.
Well, let's take a look at your schedule this season and talk about what I think is a very balanced schedule up and down for the KMAC. You guys, that rivalry with Highland to start off, Northridge. You get 2 home games, though, to get accustomed. Then you're at Utica, and then you get into the schedule. Just, talk a little bit more about this non-conference schedule. You get to start at home, though, at least, which is, I think, is good, where kids get accustomed to the season. Don't have to take the long bus trips to start off the year. You're at home.
Yeah, that's nice, especially when we're on the road for both of our preseason scrimmages. So being able to open up at home and then open up at home against a very, very talented and well-coached Highland team that's a rivalry. Coach Stover does a fabulous job, and they're always talented and got hard-nosed kids, so that's going to be a great challenge out of the gate. And then you add to it the history and the rivalry behind it. So our kids are excited, but they're understanding that we got a lot of work to do before week 1.
And just thoughts, you get to play for a trophy in the regular season too, the Fredericktown Trophy. We got to unveil it a few years ago, but playing in small school atmospheres, you did it at Lucas, but now here in the KMAC, where you're playing rivalries for trophies and things like that, that's just got to be a fun feeling, just not as a coach, but as a player as well, getting to do things like that.
Well, again, I think those are the type of things that make high school football special for student athletes. And when you have a top to bottom, very competitive conference, I mean, you look at the number of teams at the KMAC since the postseason each and every year.
Oh, yeah.
You survive our conference, you're going to be prepared for the postseason.
Yeah. Now let's talk about some of your players. Blake Sipes, dual threat. You got a running quarterback, which you must love after the teams you had at Lucas. But you get Blake Sipes coming back, who threw for over 1,000 yards, ran for over 1,000 yards last year, and then you have one of his top receivers back in Gavin Toombs as well, who he's a big kid. He's one of those multi-sport athletes. Plays the center for the basketball team, things like that. You have weapons in the cupboard here at Fredericktown for your first year.
Yeah, I think we've got some great experience returning into skill positions. You led by Blake, Gavin, Brody Davis.
Yeah.
All great athletes, all multi-sport athletes. But more importantly, one thing that I've learned early is those guys that are all our kids, but especially the seniors, tremendous hard workers, committed, trying their darndest to be the best leaders that they can be for our team. They've really bought in. So I guess my compliment to guys like Blake and Gavin and Brody is as good an athlete they are, they're just as good young men.
Yeah.
But when I say that, it doesn't mean we're perfect. None of us are perfect.
No, nobody is.
But they work hard and they're conscientious and they care about their teammates and they care about, we kind of have the mantra now in our program about DTN, defend the nest. We understand that we got the privilege to play Fredericktown football, and there's a lot of people that have made that happen and have come before us. And so when we go out there, we're not just representing ourselves, we're representing all those people that made it possible. And so we've kind of hung our hat on that we need to defend the nest. And when we defend the nest, it's everybody that's worn that jersey, everybody that's gone to Fredericktown High School and a part of this community, and that's who we represent.
I expect a window sign at the OH report that says DTN now. Before I let you go, I do have to ask you about this. The philosophy, the offensive-defensive philosophy, is it going to be like you had at Lucas, or is it going to be changed a little bit for you guys at Fredericktown?
You'll see a lot of similarities, but we're going to accentuate, the experience and the athletes that we have come back. I mean, when you've got a weapon like Blake Sipes at the quarterback position, you're going to make sure you utilize his strengths, and you're going to highlight those things. And then you've got a chess piece like Gavin Toombs at the tight end position, he's athletic enough that he can stretch the field like a receiver. But he's 6'5", 230 pounds, and can get in line and block and be physical, plays defense for us. We got our returning our leading tackler from last year coming back on defense, and Kirk Parker, who's just been a man-child so far for us in practice. And we're kind of excited to get to this Saturday where we can go against somebody besides ourselves and see where we're at, so we know what we need to get better at.
Who is this scrimmage against this week?
We have a 4-way scrimmage at Mohawk with Mohawk, Monroeville, and Lakota.
Oh, wow, some really good teams you guys get a chance to go. Lastly, I had the other coaches talk about it too. Even though it's your first year, you are accustomed to Fredericktown and the fans, just the atmosphere at a Fredericktown football game. Just how excited are you to get into the stands, get in front of the stands that are going to be packed night in and night out with Freddie's fans, where there isn't going to be anybody in downtown because they're going to be down watching the game?
Well, just the whole experience, not just being the football coach and our football team, but we have a tremendous band program. Our marching band is pretty phenomenal. Got a great tradition, so that's always a big part of the show on Friday night. Our cheerleaders work really hard, and we have a great student section. And then, like you said, our community is going to be there and kind of shut out the light in the rest of the part of the community because it's Friday night football. So
I do have to shout out the band. That's a really good band. I enjoy watching them play when they make it to halftime. But I look forward to watching your team play on the field as well this year. And, Coach, welcome back to the coaching ranks. We are looking forward to working with you this season and the next few ones. Scott Spittler, head coach of the Fredericktown Freddies. We're going to take one more break. When we come back, the hometown man, Mike Reed, Mount Gilead, right here next.
OH Report brings you local high school sports coverage like nobody else. In football, basketball, baseball, volleyball, softball, soccer, wrestling, track and field. If it's happening in our area, we're streaming it.
Final coach of the evening here at the End Zone in Mount Gilead, and it is the hometown coach, Mike Reed of the Indians. Coach, as always, it is a pleasure to have you on here.
Well, thanks for having
welcome
me.
in. First of all, how cool is this place? I mean, you come in here, the servers know your name, all that stuff, but this is a great venue.
Yeah, this is bless Joe Long. He started this vision a couple years ago, and I was actually over at Highland at the time, and he called over and wanted to represent the whole county, so we brought some Highland stuff over for him to put in here. And one of my son's pictures on the wall in the Highland uniform, and he just wanted to support every kid in the county, really. That was just Joe's heart. You know, we miss him, but we don't forget him.
Yeah, he was a great guy to work with. He sponsored games. He actually came, it was 2 years ago, first game of the season. Brought him up into the press box just about 5 minutes before the game started. Said, "You want to sponsor?" Absolutely, I'll sponsor. Last second, but
absolutely.
Great man, great venue they have here, and I'm glad that Sarah's continuing that legacy here.
Absolutely,
'cause it's a phenomenal place. Speaking of phenomenal, you guys, the record. Don't let the record deceive you. Last year, we'll start here there. 4 wins, 4-6, but you guys had a very good team, and I still say this. If you would have made it into the playoffs, you probably could have won a few games because you had that good of a team, but you just ran into two regional champion teams that you gave them their toughest win in the regular season. Northmor, you guys, a 12-minute drive for a touchdown that still, it's just whatever witchcraft you used that night. It was just, the wizardry you used was great, but that, and then you're a roughing the kicker penalty probably from knocking off Danville as well, for being in that game late.
Right.
But that said a lot about your squad. You let one get away against Upper Sandusky early on, but either one of those games you make it in, I do think you had a run because you guys have a team that wasn't 4-6, I believe. You probably, that's more, I think, a 7-3, 8-2 team. It's just some things didn't fall your way.
Yeah, right. Well, I appreciate that, and we got to make our own breaks sometimes, and we can look at moments in any one of those games and point to a situation we could have executed better, or whatever the case may be. But like we returned a punt against Danville with reasonable space where we were down 12-8, where we could have scored off of that. But we had a penalty, and it was an aggressive penalty. The kid was trying to go for a block there, and
it wasn't anything malicious.
Yeah,
but
right.
He was going for the
right.
block.
It's just a penalty, and I put those 2 scores on the board when we started our winter program. Our 30-day period was up. Our buddies at Northmor and Danville were still in the playoffs in the semifinals.
Yeah.
And I put those 2 scores on the board that Friday, and I said, these guys are playing tonight. And the kids' initial deal was, we kind of messed that up. I'm like, no, this is encouraging. This is going into 2025. This is how close we are. Are we better than we were 4 years ago? Absolutely. Are we where we want to be? No. Yeah, and that's the challenge this year is we're really focusing on embracing that process of what greatness really is and what it takes to be that way. Finish those games.
Yeah, and it always starts with your signal caller, and you have your signal caller coming back this year. Just talk about his development. I mean, he didn't have to throw it too much last year, but he did. He had a completion percentage of 45.3, Cole Fricky, and 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 437 yards, but he did what you needed him to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So in our offense, especially when we want to control the ball, our offense, sometimes the easiest thing that our quarterback does is pass. Managing the offense is a lot more difficult, the footwork, but Cole does a tremendous job. He's got a great head on his shoulder. He's able to communicate what he can see, what he's reading, and check downs and things of that nature. And it's been a really fun summer working with him in the passing game. If we get that passing game developed, we're a whole team at that point.
Yeah.
And, not that we weren't last year. Like you said, the kids battled hard. I was awful proud of them the whole season. And honestly, Gilead's a good place to be because the kids they just work so stinking hard.
Yeah.
But Cole's like that too. And we've had a good summer working with him at quarterback, throwing the football and working some timing aspects out. And, we might surprise some people.
Well, you graduated 9 seniors. You graduated your leading rusher in Cam Vickers, but you had a lot of underclassmen play that season, and like you said, realized how close they came to doing some great things last year.
Right.
What can you say about their development from the winter when you put those scores up to right now when we're getting into fall practice? We're 2 weeks away from week 1.
The guys have worked extremely hard in the weight room, and I got to give a shout out to all my assistant.
Go for it.
All my assistant coaches. I mean, I got 8 of them now, and a lot of those guys are volunteer, and they've done a great job. And Mike Reed II, my offensive line coach and basically an offensive coordinator when it comes down to it, has done a good job the last 4 years developing those linemen to where we graduated some pretty good offensive linemen, but the guys coming back, every single one of them seen the field and had legitimate time. And that's going to come in handy, and we're going to continue to try to develop that aspect as well. And, Joe Ulrey's been working with our defense and done a tremendous job on that side of the ball. And Dan Har's an incredible addition to the staff, and Jared and Joe Rule have been with me all 4 years, and we've all improved as coaches. We're all in that developmental stage ourselves. When I quit trying to become a better coach, I probably need to retire. But a big shout out to those coaches getting those kids ready. I'm really happy with the offensive line. We got good size, good strength, decent speed up front. And all those guys played last year. They weren't all starters, but they all played last year. So.
That's great. I actually have a comment on Facebook from Joe Tatman. Ask my Gilead coach about his boys' work with the Unstoppables.
Oh, it's fantastic. I tell you what, I think that is, the playoff games I've been involved with in the past. Those are all fun. Working with the kids, every aspect of coaching is a blast when it comes down to, some days more than others. But
I get that.
But the Unstoppables camp is an adaptive camp for kids of various disabilities, and it is a tremendous camp. And my son Mike and his wife Leslie actually came up with that idea a couple years ago, and I was like, we're going to do that. And it really blesses our kids. Our kids go out there and run the camp, and inclusion really matters. And it's just a fantastic event. And there's nobody that comes to that event, even if you're just watching, that does not leave feeling great. Nobody can be in a bad mood after seeing that. It's a tremendous time, and the kids have fun. My kids learn an awful lot about, we try to teach that as a team aspect, everybody has value. Nobody on the team has no value. Everybody has value, but it goes beyond that. Everybody in the world has value, and I tell you, I can't speak enough about it. It's fantastic. It's one of my favorite things that we do. And the appreciation from your players too. That could do nothing but help as well. Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. The guys tend to really grow up through that process, and I think my favorite thing is seeing the young guys from freshman year to senior year physically, spiritually, mentally develop over the 4-year period. So, all right, let's take a look at your schedule for this year coming up. You guys get the chance to get some revenge on Upper Sandusky. We did the Triad game, Grove City Christian. You guys had Wednesday there, but it was that Upper Sandusky game that probably left a little bit of a sour taste in your mouth going into the regular season KMAC schedule last year. You get them at home this year. You get a chance to get some redemption there, and then right off the bat, first game in the KMAC at home, you get Danville. So it looks like a little bit of a revenge tour there to start the season. You got Upper Sandusky, you got Danville as well, but you got some not tough, but some competitive games on that schedule. Oh, absolutely. I don't believe Mount Gilead's ever beat Upper Sandusky. I might be wrong on that. You might have to fact check that, but I don't think that's a big hurdle, though. That game last year, we just didn't close that one out very well, and I think we learned a lot from that and grew up a lot from that, and we came back the next week and beat Grove City, and we came back next week and gave Danville everything we had, with Wyatt Long stepping in as a backup quarterback that game because Cole got hurt very early in that game. And I was real happy about how we learned and came back and competed. And absolutely. And all these guys in this room tonight, tremendous coaches, really good coaches. Their teams are prepared, they do a great job, and it's kind of an honor to hang with them tonight a little bit. But yeah, Danville coming right off the bat. Well, if we want to be the best, we got to beat the best. Yeah. So, I mean, a little Ric Flair from you right there. Right. Yeah, most everything's borrowed, but yeah. But you got Andy over there. Centerburg's always good, and Coach Beatty and East Knox are always good. Coach Guessman's been working really hard down at Cardington trying to get that thing going. He's probably got his best team that I think he's had coming in this year, and. Coach Armrose at Northmor, he's graduated a lot of kids, but he's got so many coming back. And Colella at Centerburg, they're all loaded, and it's fun. We like to compete, so that's fun.
for Mount Gilead to be successful and make that next jump this season? What has to happen?
We got to stay healthy, first of all. We like everybody in this room tonight, we got 35, 40-man rosters when it comes down to it. And depth is always an issue, and getting those next guys ready is a big issue. So developing depth and really, if we truly embrace that becoming great is a day-to-day thing in football and out of football both, I really think that we'll have a great season this year. The guys have worked extremely hard. They bought into the concept. I'm really happy with how hard they've worked in camps and in our practices here. We used to call 2-a-days and all that kind of stuff. But we gotta stay in that process. We gotta stay in that process and kind of let the distractions fall off.
Yeah. Some good distractions. A couple more questions. We'll get out of here. But the facilities in Mount Gilead. I mean, last year you opened up the new locker rooms, the Bermuda Fifth Fairway at Augusta turf that you have. New scoreboard this year? Or
well, they just
Videotron or something like that.
Yeah,
the lights that flicker on and off when you score and all that stuff. But
right, and the little sound bite things and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't want to make your program go longer than it's supposed to.
No. That's my fault. That's me asking the question. Continue,
but I can't say enough about this community, the support, forward-thinking Board of Education and administration, and I sit down and share what my visions are, and they seem to match. And I didn't do that stuff out there; the community did.
Yeah.
The Board of Education did, and it's a wonderful environment. I remember we played Elgin the first time we ever played on that. A couple seasons ago was the first time we actually played on that. And it was like a playoff atmosphere. The whole town seemed to be out and supporting us. And it was, I can't say enough about the support we get here from the family and the community and the end zone and, Purple Head, all the places in there. I can't do a NASCAR Ricky Bobby and go down through all the sponsors, but it's a good place to be.
It is. All right, you're going to become an OH reporter here for a couple more minutes.
Okay.
And we'll talk about Ed Honeberger's squad at Loudonville. He was unable to make it there at practice right now, which I completely respect. They want to get ready for the season. But what can you say about his squad coming on last year, inheriting a team that was on a rebuild and trying to build up a team that he wants to make competitive this year?
Well, Ed's career and his record speaks for himself. He's a tremendous coach. He does a great job wherever he's at, and he's at Danville all those years and had great playoff runs. And we would scrimmage them when I was over at Highland, back in those days, and they always had great teams over there. And they're going to be much improved for sure. They're going to be fundamentally sound. They're going to be in good schemes, and he'll have his guys ready. And he's a fun guy to talk to. It's too bad you don't get to interview him tonight.
Yeah.
He's the blast to talk to, and. But 100% they'll be competitive too. They'll be right. Like I said, the room is full. You got Coach Spittler coming over from Lucas this year with a decent bunch of skilled guys from Fredericktown. I mean, golly, it doesn't get very much easy. And there's never an easy Friday in this league. So
that's what you love about the KMAC, competitiveness up and down the schedule.
Night in, night out.
Absolutely. Yep. Coach Reed, as always, it is a pleasure having you on here.
Well, thank you. I sure appreciate everything you guys do as well.
That's why we do it. Show your athletes, your student athletes off, and things like that. But that'll do it. It's been a successful first ever coaches show we have here for the KMAC. Want to thank all of our coaches today: Matt Bloom, Andy Coella, Andy Beatty, Scott Armros, Ryan Getzman, Scott Spittler, Mike Reed, even head coach Ed Honeberger over at Loudonville, and especially want to thank Sarah Long here at the End Zone for allowing us to be here. Please, if you're in the area, come check this place out, even if it's for breakfast, lunch, dinner, just to walk in, look at the Wall of Fame. It is a very cool place for you to get your food and an adult beverage if you're allowed to, if you're of age. But want to thank all the coaches, want to thank the folks here at the End Zone as well, and I especially want to thank my producer, Adam Thompson, for running the ones and twos here tonight. But the high school football season just 2 weeks away from today, Thursday night, we'll kick things off, as tonight we kicked off our coverage on the OH Report. But that'll do it for me. I'll see you guys next week for our coverage of high school athletics.